Atlanta, jewel of the South. And inside a storied stadium comes a program laden with plenty of its own success stories. The big boys are in town, in front of a buzzing crowd, all hoping to wreck the national hopes of the Seminoles of Florida State. The number 3 ranked Seminoles are in town. Bobby Dodd Stadium, Atlanta. Tonight, the Yellow Jackets playing host to them in an ACC affair. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin, and welcome to Saturday Prime Time. And you know, Bobby Bowden is not going to be accused of trying to rack up frequent flyer miles this year. This is only the second time for the entire year that Florida State will have to leave the state of Florida to play a game. But that's fine with him. Now, as far as common opponents in this ball game, Virginia. Earlier this year, Virginia undefeated. They came to Bobby Dodd Stadium. They were knocked off by Georgia Tech. And Mike Godfrey, just last week, down in Tallahassee, Florida State had a lot of trouble with those same Cavaliers. Good comparison or not?
I think it's a good comparison, but Georgia Tech and Virginia was a game with a slow pace to it, low-scoring game. And I don't think Georgia Tech can have that kind of game tonight because Thad, Busby, Ward, Dunn, they'll get that fast-break offense moving.
Like every Saturday night, we talk about our primetime players on primetime. And tonight's 2 big guys are actually little guys. We start with Joe Hamilton, freshman quarterback for Georgia Tech.
Oh, he's got a tough job tonight. He's 5'8". He's going to have the rusher Renard Wilson and Boulware coming down on him. He has to make plays throwing the football and running the options.
For Florida State, we know where it starts to get it done. It has to be with Warwick.
Every defensive coordinator that plays Florida State says we have to stop Ward. Dunn. None have.
Down on the sideline is Kellen Winslow, and Kellen has more for us on Florida State and their big play offense.
Well, Ron and Mike, you caught me just as Florida State was coming out on the field. When you talk about big play, Bobby Bowden said he'd rather have a home run hitter like a Cecil Fielder than a single hitter he'd have to bunt over to get in a scoring position. His home run hitter, of course, is Ward Dunn. Indicative of that is last week against Virginia, Ward had 25 carries for 66 yards, but on that one carry, he went 65 yards for the touchdown in a tight ball game. It's that type of play that Georgia Tech is going to have to stop tonight if they're going to be successful against a very powerful Florida State football team.
Well, what we say to you every Saturday night, pull up a chair, prop up your feet. It's prime time. Let's have some fun.
Hi, got your pizza.
I didn't order a pizza.
You didn't order a pizzeria stuffed crust pizza?
Sure didn't.
It's baked fresh every day. Not too thick, not too thin. Just like pizzeria pizza. Tasty sauce and ring of cheese that's baked into the crust. It's just $8.99 for a large, but...
Oh, yeah, that's our. Thanks a lot.
Discover Pizzeria Stuffed Crust Pizza.
Hi, got your pizza.
What pizza?
Would a man attack the peak of K2 if a remarkably soft pair of pants were placed there? Would a man tread the lip of a volcano for pants that were pure cotton yet wrinkle-free? Would a man brave the trackless Sahara for pants that were suitable for work and play? A man would if he were a fool, because he could go to the store and say, yes, I'd like to try on the ultimate pant, new by Hager. Besides, your wife won't let you go to the Sahara anyway.
Mike Tirico in our studio will be here throughout our doubleheader tonight on ESPN. Unbeaten's coming into the day. There were 6. Would anybody get knocked off? Well, Arizona State was in some trouble, trailing Oregon State at the half. But Arizona State opens up the second half with a bang. Terry Battle, who had a terrific day on the ground, approaching 200 yards, takes the opening kickoff for the second half, and he goes the distance. A 100-yard touchdown in Corvallis. Arizona State rallies to stay perfect, 9-0 as they win 5-15. Florida blew out Georgia. They're in overtime. Cal ball. They trail Arizona by 7. Penn State ends Northwestern's 13-game Big Ten win streak. Syracuse shutting out Don Nehlen's West Virginia team. Washington beating Southern Cal in L.A. Rice beat Utah, handing them their first conference loss. Wyoming and BYU win. We'll go to the WAC later on tonight. Now back to Ron, Mike, and Kelly.
Well, thanks, Mike Tirico. Bobby Dodd Stadium about to be filled to capacity. They're still coming in. The importance of this one tonight, Florida State 5-0 in conference play, then North Carolina, then Georgia Tech, Virginia, and Clemson with 4-2 marks. Bobby Bowden, that familiar face on the sideline, 265 career wins, second among active coaches ahead of Coach Paterno. Bowden, of course, at Florida State, it seems like the fixture. George O'Leary wants to be a fixture here in Atlanta, and I think before it's all said and done, he will be. His second season as he heads up the attack of the Ramblin' Wreck. Dave Frakes will kick it off. Coles and Peter Warwick back deep. And it's going to be Coles. Breaks it at the 20. So let's take look at the starting lineups for Florida State. Thad Busby at quarterback, improves with every snap. Warwick Dunn, of course, he's the focus guy. Pooh Bear Williams opens at fullback tonight. The wide receivers, they can go 6 deep. They're all very good. Green and Cooper. Pearsall, the tight end, they don't throw to him a bunch, but he's really a fine one. And up front of the offensive line, Walter Jones, Marcus Long, Kevin Long is the center, no relation. Chad Bates at right guard, and Todd Fordham is at right tackle. He grades very well. A 3-year starter is Fordham. Going to throw on first down. Hit as he throws the ball, and it is intercepted by Georgia Tech at the 35-yard line, and it's Brian Wilkins, number 16. Jermaine Miles hit him just as he threw.
Good pressure on Thad Busby. He opened the ball game with a play-action pass, figuring that they may think you're going to get the ball to Warwick Dunn to start. Linebackers play the run, but the contact made by Jermaine Miles causes this interception. Georgia Tech, great field position to start this game.
You could see 35 cut in front and almost make the interception. That's Keith Brooking, the junior. Movement all over the place, and Joe Hamilton will have to go back to the huddle. Now, all of this started so rapidly. Tech actually won the toss. They deferred to the second half.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5 yards.
Ron, you talked about early whether or not this could be another Virginia game. Well, when you get turnovers inside the 50-yard line, you have to get points against Florida State. You're not going to get many opportunities against them. You have to take advantage, and that's a bad mistake jumping offside.
One of the things that George O'Leary said is that we got to have something good happen early. Well, part of that has come true. Let's see if they can make the rest happen. 5, 6, and 7 yards on the carry is Holloman, who starts at tailback tonight. Hamilton at quarterback. C.J. Williams will be a tailback for most of the evening, and Gubba gets the start, number 34, at fullback. The wide receivers, Middleton and Sheridan. And at tight end is Bainham. Also, you'll see a lot of Myers there as they use them in blocking situations. McGee, he's the best. Minter Page, Salage, and Steve Jackson at the right tackle spot. Short drop and a quick out. He's got it complete. That'll be enough for the first down to Harvey Middleton. Defensively for Florida State, those two defensive ends, Wilson and Boulware, we'll talk about them all night. Andre Wadsworth, unsung, very good. Also, Cannell Spain at defensive tackle. The linebackers, active, very good. Emotional leaders, got to be Vernon Crawford. Bush, steady in the middle. Also, Henry Crockett. And in the secondary, they continue to improve. Shevin Smith is the guy who probably has come the greatest distance. Was a walk-on, now full scholarship, a junior out of Miami. C.J. Williams, big opening, right up the middle. Minter, Hayes, Salage blocking well. Shevin Smith makes the tackle, and some momentum for Georgia Tech.
Well, I think they have some momentum early. What you want to do against a team like Florida State that has such powerful defensive ends working up the field is run at them, number one, in quick passes, and that's exactly what they did, throwing the ball to Harvey Middleton.
Get a good look at 55, Renard Wilson. There's Boulware. C.J. loses his foot. He may have tripped over his quarterback's feet, and he will be back close to the line of scrimmage as Williams. Didn't play last week, out with a hamstring. They wanted to rest him against Central Florida, so he would be close to 100% for tonight's ball game.
Ron, the keys to the ball game for Georgia Tech: no penalties, no turnovers, and they've got to average at least 3-4 yards per play to try to keep the ball away from Florida State.
Third down, line to make is the 13.5. swings it out. That's Williams, and he dropped the football. That was a lateral, and it's been picked up by Shevin Smith. Now, we're going to have to look, but boy, Mike, he sure looked as though he was running away from the line of scrimmage rather than a forward pass.
Well, they call it an incomplete pass, and let me tell you, the most important thing about that is if that ball is completed, that may go for a score because there was no one out there to tackle C.J. Williams.
The ball would not be advanceable because that would be a muff. But it sure looked like a fumble. We'll get a look at the replay in just a moment as Chambers comes in to attempt a 35-yard field goal. Good pass. Plenty of distance, and he's got it. Georgia Tech 3. Florida State nothing. We'll be right back.
Introducing McDonald's Deluxe Sandwiches. They're new. They're big, with fresh toppings and a bakery soft roll. The average adult has over 8,000 taste buds. Get ready to use them all. It's McDonald's with a grown-up taste.
Roll into Pep Boys right now and get a full set of 4 70,000-mile tires for just $169. That's any size, any 4 70,000-mile tires in stock for just $169 at Pep Boys now.
Driving a supercharged Riviera is a pretty racy form of entertainment. And now, with these special low lease rates, it's more exhilarating than ever. Riviera by Buick.
ESPN's coverage of Saturday primetime is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember, Buick, the new symbol of quality in America. Well, Mike, here's that key play just a moment ago, and take a look as Georgia Tech's on top 3-0. But when you look at this replay, this is away from the line of scrimmage. It's a lateral.
Well, there's 2 points here. First of all, let's watch the play, and look, if he catches this football, there's no one there. He's got a touchdown. We're going to come back and look at it again. Now watch where Joe Hamilton throws the ball. It's definitely lateral, Ron. The ball is behind the C.J. Williams, and they just didn't give him the call, called it an incomplete pass.
And as I said, even if Shevin Smith had picked it up, he couldn't have scored because that would have been a muff. But it would have been Florida State's football. Warwick on the near side. Lavernus Cole, number 7, on the far side. As Frakes will kick it off for the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech, who's gone on top in the early going here. Cole's 5 yards deep, and he'll go down and take a knee.
All week, Ron, the coaches at Florida State preached to their football team about the Virginia game last year. Said this is the same kind of setup we're going into here. A good enough football team to beat us if we don't play.
Busby intercepted just a moment ago in the first play. Fakes the run. Out the gun. He's wide open. 25. And a nice open field tackle. He'll go for 7. And let's check in with the... Okay, well, let's take a look at the starters on defense. Hughes, Shepard, Bradford, and Jermaine Miles. Now, Shepard and Miles, the two real goers up there. Miles is the one who caused the interception a moment ago. The linebackers, boy, they play tough. Rogers and Brooking. Also Jimmy Clements, number 28. We'll check the secondary in just a moment as Florida State, with their no huddle, right back to the line of scrimmage. Busby got it, overthrown, And a flag is down, and that is way back at the quarterback, as Ron Rogers is the one who had the cover on the play.
Warwick Dunn is really upset with one of the officials, too. I've never seen him get upset on any play on any game. But he's upset with an official, felt like that they had interfered with him on the catch.
Yeah, you're right. Warwick is not one to... In fact...
On the offense, half the distance to the goal. Second down.
He's going to call holding on Florida State's Todd Fordham, number 71, and that is a hold. And here's the play on Warwick Dunn. Ron Rogers over the back of him. And Warwick Dunn just never complains, but upset about that call.
Yep, he really was. Bobby Bowden made the point when we did the Clemson game down in Tallahassee that the youngster never complains about anything when he's not getting the football or whatever. Just very quiet. Well, they got a long way to go now on second down. Dunn with the handoff, breaks off one tackle, and then D will knock him out of bounds short of the 15-yard line.
Last year, Warwick Dunn had 6 straight 100-yard or more ball games rushing the football until he met against Georgia Tech. They only allowed him 60 yards last year. So they play very strong against the run. Every defensive coordinator that plays against Florida State says, number one, we've got to stop number 28, Warwick Dunn. Everybody tries to take him out of the ball game.
Mike, it's third down, and they need about 16 yards to keep this drive going. Just under 12 minutes to play. We're in the opening quarter, and Tech has a field goal. Busby waited a long time, now puts air under it, and almost intercepted by Wilkins. And now a flag is down. And it's right in front of the Georgia Tech bench, and you have to say that they're trying to lobby against E.G. Green on Wilkins' behalf.
Pass interference on the offense. Penalty is declined.
That's not a bad play by E.G. Green, though, because even though if it's intercepted, it's like a punt, but he has to become a defensive player now in this situation with Brian Wilkins. So he just tries to pull the ball out as much as he can.
Wilkins almost made it anyway. Sean Liss. You see his average just over 40 for his longest. Came down at Miami, 76 yards. And Perryman is the man who is back deep. As the field position for Florida State has not been good this entire first quarter, either possession. Liss's kick into the wind. Good hanging spiral. Bearcats flag comes down because they ran into Perryman. He got bumped on the way by.
Yeah, that was a smart move by Perryman because I don't think he was even trying to catch the football, but he ran in to a Florida State defender.
Coles, I believe, number 7. Lavernus Coles is the man who made contact. It's only a 37-yard kick.
Kick catching interference on the kicking team. 5 yards. First down.
So what that means is that, again, Georgia Tech will have the ball across midfield. Well, next Saturday, ESPN is the place to be. 12:30, Ohio State takes on the Fighting Illini. Then on primetime at 7:30, number 10 Alabama takes on Kevin Falk and company, number 12 LSU. That one at Tiger Stadium. But start today with College Game Day at 11:30 a.m. and the Residence Inn Scoreboard Show at 7 and 10:30. Quick pass. Incomplete, just a little bit low as Middleton, the intended receiver.
Now they're going to give him the completion.
They are.
Like, right? Okay. Now they're talking it over. Now it's very slow getting to the football. They're going to give him the completion. Harvey Middleton is a very good possession type receiver. Tough receiver. They lost Eric Stiegler in the year before the season started with an injury. Harvey Middleton's had to be the step-up guy.
Good for 7 yards, so second down and short. Myers in motion. Charlie Rogers, not big, but he's a scooter, and he's close to the first down. In fact, he may have it just outside the 35-yard line. Pittman comes over to make the stop on him.
Left tackle Curtis McGee was given the signal to the fullback to make sure that he ran inside and lead Charlie Rogers because of the defensive end playing outside so far.
Now, Boulware made comment last night that this fella, Curtis McGee, has given him problems. Last year, he didn't have a sack against Georgia Tech, and he said one of the reasons why, Curtis is very good at what he does.
Curtis McGee's an outstanding tackle. What so far in this ball game, a good game plan by Georgia Tech. Throwing the ball quick, running right at inside the defensive ends.
And leaving the tight end in for blocking also, Mike. Well, they almost got caught for delay of game, so they'll call timeout. 10:19 to play. Opening quarter. Tech by 3.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
We're talking about a good catch. In this play, the receiver has neither foot hit the ground. Is this a good catch?
There are lots of reasons to buy life insurance. Here are 2 great ones. I'm State Farm agent Mike Foley. As the Goff family has grown, so have their life insurance needs. That's why we get together for family insurance checkups. I make sure to explain all the options, and they decide on the plan that's right for them. Ask your State Farm agent for a family insurance checkup. It's a great way to learn about life.
We're talking about what makes a good catch. In this play, although the receiver's feet did not come down first, his body landed in bounds. By rule, a good catch.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see.
Feeling safe, being secure. It's why more families rely on Buick LeSabre than any other full-size sedan. Peace of mind from LeSabre.
National powerhouse Michigan travels to Lafayette for a Big Ten battle with Purdue. Next Saturday at 12:30, only on ESPN2.
On the way back to Atlanta, it's a final. Cal, which won a 3-overtime game earlier this year, beats Arizona in 4 overtimes. Cal keeps alive its hopes for winning the Pac-10. They play Arizona State next week. And remember, all OT stats count, so a great day for Pat Barnes. Ron and Mike.
Mike, was that a 3-point shot, or did they do it at the free throw line?
I don't know. That's a lot of scoring. And like Mike said, all the statistics count. So some guys padded their statistics in those overtime games.
Really did. Look at this Mike and field position. Opposing 40-yard line for Georgia Tech. Florida State, their own 21.
You got to take advantage of it, though. You got to get points, and preferably a touchdown.
First down from the 35. Pressure up the middle. Hamilton throws. Got a man there, and almost taken away by Shevin Smith. Sheridan, the intended receiver. Mike, when you talk about Florida State's defense, this fellow right here just seems to, every time you watch him play, he gets better and better. He's the playmaker.
Ron, in '94, he was a walk-on player playing against Florida in the Sugar Bowl. And before this season started, Bobby Bowden said to Mickey Andrews, he's our best defensive back, gave him a scholarship. The number 37, Smith, just in good coverage with Mike Sheridan.
He broke his arm in his Georgia Tech game just last year. John Myers in motion. Draw play. Charlie Rogers breaks inside the 35. Shevin Smith in the stop now, 3rd and long.
What happens, Ron, when your offense is struggling a little bit like Florida State's is, and you don't have field position, now Mickey Andrews is blitzing a little bit more because he's forcing the action on his side of the ball. He cannot afford Georgia Tech to get any more success and confidence in this football game, so they're taking chances on defense now.
Well, let's see what they come up with. It is a 3rd down, and the line to make to pick up the first is the 25 and a half. Wilson and Boulware ready. Ball right up the middle, close to the 30-yard line. Bush will make the stop on Curtis Holloman on the inside handoff. And we'll see another field goal attempt.
That play call was respect for the 2 defensive ends, Renard Wilson and Peter Boulware, because you get in a situation 3rd and long, you don't want a sack, you don't want a big play, you want to set up the field goal. They feel very comfortable doing this.
Frakes, this is an attempt to 48 yards. Oh, that was well right. Not close. So Georgia Tech with 2 excellent opportunities, and this one very empty do they come up.
Well, they do, Ron, and that's, again, give credit to Mickey Andrews and the Florida State defense because they stepped it up. The defensive ends, they stepped it up. They blitzed. They brought some pressure on Georgia Tech and talked them out of throwing the football on 3rd and long. Here's Renard Wilson, number 55. Again, trying to get up the field, thought it was going to be a pass and reacting to the run. On the other side, Peter Boulware, number 58, working up the field again. That's success. You're going to have success when you run up inside them, but Andre Wadsworth is waiting for you up there, and he's a pretty good defensive tackle.
3rd time Florida State has had the ball on offense tonight. Dunn loses his footing in the backfield. Shepard is the closest man to him, but he just went down, and he'll lose 3.
What happens, too, when you're a team that scores and big plays, and sometimes when you get opportunities to go on the field as an offensive team, you start pressing because you lost a couple opportunities earlier, and now you get a little frustrated.
We had heavy rain last night. This field is in excellent shape. But yesterday afternoon and last night, rain. Cooper makes the catch, fights his way to the 31. Perryman has him in his grasp. And now it's going to be 3rd down. It's still close to 10.
When you look at Florida State, they ranked 46th in total offense. Last year, they were number 1. And you see their ranking this year. When you look at that, 40th, 48th in pass yardage, 46th total offense, they're a big play offensive football team.
Busby zings it, has it complete, and that'll be the initial 1st down as Cooper makes the reception. So Busby makes the first big connection of the night. They move the chains and hold on to the football at the 8:02 mark. 3-0, Georgia Tech leads. Busby's throw had Messam open just a little bit beyond him as Bostic, who is the boundary corner for Georgia Tech, out there on the cover.
Well, I really believe Thad Busby. I've always felt like he had the tools to be a great quarterback, and then when he started this year, started a little slow, but the Miami game was the big game for him. He sees 3 out of 6 with 1 interception, but that was caused by the pass rush. But the Miami game and that win gave him confidence, and I think he's going to take it to the next level.
Kind of his coming out party, as it were. Dunn tries to turn the corner, gets out of the grasp of Wilkins, then is going to be knocked out of bounds squarely on the 50-yard line, and Chad Bates, number 65, with an excellent block out front.
Warrick Dunn, you can try to stop him, but I still believe, and I've said it every week, he's the best running back in college football because every defense that plays Florida State tries to stack up to stop Warrick Dunn. Now, Thad Busby ought to have a big night throwing the football tonight, Ron, because of the strategy by Georgia Tech.
Hit, what a great open field tackle, Ron Rogers. One of the inside linebackers, and he gets him, I believe, before he picks up the 1st down. You go for it, Mike? It's about a yard and a half.
Punt the football. When you have as good a defense as Florida State, just a matter of time your defense is going to maybe get you a turnover. You've got to punt the football.
Standing ovation for the Georgia Tech defense here at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Sean List to punt again. Perryman is the deep man. Good driving spiral this time. Runs away from it. Takes a tech bounce and goes into the end zone. It is a 49-yard kick, and there's the guy that is responsible for putting the halt on Dunn.
Champion Chevrolet Geo in Tallahassee has just made a special purchase of 96 pre-owned Suburbans and Tahoes. Right now, you can save thousands of dollars on 2 of America's favorite sport utility vehicles, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, 96 Suburbans and Tahoes. Save thousands of dollars, but you better hurry in. They won't last long. Like new, 96 Suburbans and Tahoes at Champion Chevrolet. Don't miss it.
Champion Chevrolet.
We sell excitement at Thomas Motor Cars in Quincy.
Pontiac makes America's most exciting cars, and you can get your best deal at Thomas Motor Cars. Buy a 96 Sunfire for just $12,995. Drive a Grand Am for just $249 per month. For as little as $29.95, you can own a 96 Bonneville. Get your best deal on America's most exciting cars. Pontiac at Thomas Motor Cars.
Thomas Motor Cars, 9 minutes west of I-10 on Highway 90, Quincy.
Tell us what your nicknames are going to be this Sunday. We want to win that ESPN name game sweepstakes. Ben Winter Coates. Eric's sleeping with the enemy.
To enter, watch NFL Primetime this Sunday night. Write down a Berman nickname you hear and call the number shown. You could win a trip for two to the 1997 Super Bowl. Watch NFL Primetime and your nickname could be prize winner. Visa, the official card of the NFL, presents ESPN's name game sweepstakes.
We can't hear you.
Part of the Capacity House. Great evening for football here at Atlanta, Georgia. Key plays so far, Mike.
Jermaine Miles is going to get a piece. Number 95 of Thad Busby, and he caused the interception that set up field position for that field goal. Here's the pass play. Here was the interception. Georgia Tech, Brian Wilkins with the pickoff, and then they were able to take it in for the 3-0 field goal run. But we talked about Florida State's decision to punt the football. Now they get field position changed. Now see if their defense can keep it that way.
First time tonight that Georgia Tech has had to take over the ball in their own territory. They go from their own 20. C.J. Williams going to go for about 3. Julian Pittman is down at the bottom of that stack along with Hamlet and Darrell Bush. Three to nothing if you've just joined us. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Kellen Winslow coming to you from Bobby Dodd and Georgia Tech, Atlanta, Georgia. C.J. Williams, head of steam. He'll have 4, maybe 5. They're going to mark him just across the 28. Henry Crockett puts the stop on him. Crockett, big play guy in that Florida State defense.
I was going to say, C.J. Williams, the biggest difference in him this year is that he, as opposed to last year, he lifted weights all winter, didn't play basketball. They think he's a little stronger running back this year. Now, they also have Charlie Rogers, a little quicker running back that they'll substitute in and give C.J. a spell.
Plus the fact you'll see number 23, C.J. Williams, at wide receiver some. They worked on that quite a bit on Thursday in practice. There's Williams. Oh, my goodness, what a nice tackle by 95 Canal Spain, who just took his legs right out from under him on the submarine.
When you have good defensive linemen like Renard Wilson, Peter Bower, and Andre Wadsworth, Canal Spain's always going to get one-on-one blocking. Number 96. He just angles into the inside. The block is missed by Ken Salaz, and he makes the play in the backfield, forcing the punt. Now Florida State should have great field position. And look out for D. Feaster.
Williams a little inconsistent, but he can really boom it. Gets a lot of height on his kicks. His longest 77 this year. Feaster all the way back to the 27-yard line. On the fair catch, it's a 44-yard effort. Well, the Deuce goes the distance tomorrow for the New York City Marathon. Over 29,000 runners from around the world make the 26.2-mile jog from Staten Island through Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and the Bronx, ending up in Central Park. ESPN's 2 coverage begins tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. for the New York City Marathon. Now, the cold front that's been coming across the nation came through Atlanta last night. Supposed to go into the low 30s here tonight, but a very comfortable evening. But the wind could be a factor a bit as it continues to blow out of the north. Busby swings it out to Dunn. 30. One look at the move at the 35, 40. Dunn into Georgia Tech territory, and it's just what Coach O'Leary talked about, the big play, and you got to keep them from it.
They're a big play offensive football team. You take University of Florida, you take Miami, Florida State, with all the skill they have, they're all big play teams. But when you can get the ball outside on the pass here, the swing pass to Warrick Dunn, that's like a pitch out. Now he's on the outside. Look at all the moves he makes and all the people who can't stop and make the tackle.
Yep, you got to break down and be kind of conservative because he'll go right by you. That's Miles from the backside. A flag went down. I think they're going to have holding And the pass well overthrown. It looked as though Miles got almost tackled on the leg as he broke by the offensive tackle.
I'm not so sure it's not going to be Todd Fordham again, who's having some problems with Jermaine Miles.
Yeah, that's it. Holding against Florida State. Mike Tirico, let's go back to you. What do you have for us, partner?
Ron, we have this. McDonald's breakaway taking to the Southeastern Conference at Jordan-Hare. Auburn is behind. Arkansas's Oscar Malone. 7-yard touchdown. And over on the deuce, the Hogs. The Tigers right now by 7.
Well, this time last year, Danny Ford's club steaming its way toward Atlanta. A little bit disappointing this year, but that's a good start at Jordan-Hare.
Last year at this time, we did the Arkansas-Auburn game. Arkansas beat them, had to hold on in Little Rock, but beat them, I believe, it's 30-27, 3-point game, so they're off to another good start against Auburn tonight.
You just joined us 3-0, Georgia Tech, and that man right there, number 95, Jermaine Miles, has wreaked havoc against Florida State in the early going. Try to set up the screen. Georgia Tech figured it out, and boy, if he could have dropped that one, he would have been better off, because the tackle is made by Clements, and they're going to lose big yardage as a flag goes down.
There's another flag, Ron, and this was a late throw all the way on the other side of the field. Another holding call.
3 offensive holding calls in this first quarter. Somehow you would think that book would be reversed.
And this was really a late call now. It was way away from the football. But that field position they gained with the punt, they've lost it on these penalties.
Mike, and that comes from the spot of the foul. We said he had lost big yardage. I mean, look, the original line of scrimmage was the 46-yard line. They are all the way back at the 16.
One thing about Florida State, Ron, they can pick it up because, as I talked about, they're a big play offensive football team, but it's tough when you got 1st and 48 to go.
So let's see. First down. The pitch to Dunn. He gets hit and knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. Kellen, let's check in with you down happening on the Florida State side.
Ron and Mike, the coaches feared this after a big win up in Virginia. What happened to them last year after they came off a win? They came down here to Virginia and they lost. Now it's with Georgia Tech in the same type of situation. They're flat. The penalties. It's just a team on a very cold night in Georgia who just can't find their groove right now, and they're struggling. The penalties, 2nd down and 47 yards.
Boy, the noise is incredible at that end of the stadium. As Rock Preston comes into the lineup, he'll take it to the 21. Keith Brooking will stop him. And Mike, just like we talked about in the opening tonight, here on local television, I mean, the next big game, let's be honest, for Florida State is Florida. What was on TV before Bobby had his last meetings this afternoon? The Florida Gators, and they left the hotel, I promise you, with Gators on their mind rather than focusing on Georgia Tech.
Well, they better get the Rambling Wrecks on their mind here quick. But I think, Ron, when you look at this, a long ball game for Florida State. That's why Bobby Bowden's ran the ball twice now. He doesn't want a big turnover right here because he knows his defense will eventually get him some good field position.
Busby, right over the middle. Incomplete and almost intercepted on the tip. Messam is the guy that they wanted. Bostic was there.
Ron, when this happens to you and you're especially on the road like this and the crowd is in the ball game and your team's flat, I'd much rather be carrying a great defense with me like Florida State is, because I know eventually they're going to make a play for me if I just hang around this ball game long enough. So I think Bobby Bowden will keep pushing his football team, but look for his defense to make a play.
Sean Liss waits for the snap, back at the 6. Not a good kick, end over end. It's returnable, and the ball is fumbled. Picked up and holding on is Nathan Perryman. And George O'Leary's heart just jumped up in his throat. 39 yards on the kick. Fumbled it, it came right back to him, and then he just got pounded. 2:46 to play in this opening quarter. Georgia Tech goes back on offense. They lead this ball game 3-0. It's Middleton in motion to at the top of your screen. Charlie Rogers hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Gerald Bush, the first man to get there. And Mike, here's where a thing. They list Charlie Rogers at $180, and he looks like more 165 range. It's hard to pound against this defense of Florida State.
Well, Bob Casulo, the running back coach, says he's a little dynamo. He's got natural instincts, but he's always a happy guy. And he said, I just want him to have some success in this ball game.
Busby being attended to on the sideline. Now look at the average field position. It has been in Georgia Tech's favor the entire first quarter. Charlie Rogers squirts through across the 50 down to the 47. Hamlet finally will stop him. The problem for Charlie, he has chronic back problems. He has been playing well. He's only a sophomore, but you know how debilitating a back injury can be. But it's one of the things that slowed him. But they need both he and C.J. Williams in the lineup.
So he's always okay on game night, but the next day, I mean, he is really hurting from the hits that he takes in the ball game.
Page, redshirt freshman out of Jupiter, Florida, comes out over the football. They roll the pocket. Hamilton's going to run it and gets a pickup block and will come out of bounds after picking up the first down inside the 45-yard line. Mike Sheridan is the guy who came back with a good pickup.
I'll tell you who made a great block, though, was Charlie Rogers, the little running back, 5'10", 180, and he made the block that sprung Joe Washington to the corner to get the first down. You're going to see the sprint out. Now watch number 3, Charlie Rogers. There's the block right here. Now all of a sudden after that block, Joe Hamilton knows he can make it to the first down and does.
Middleton again in motion. They pull the guard to counter play. Will go to the 40-yard line. Henry Crockett will make the stop, and Charlie Rogers. Mike Tirico, back to you.
Ron, both Los Angeles teams are home. Southern Cal lost earlier today. Now UCLA at the Rose Bowl taking on Stanford, and Mike Mitchell from 10 yards out busted in the Pac-10. Tie game at 7.
So Stanford trying to come up with a victory. It's been a tough year for them. The guys from the place they call the farm. Hamilton's pass, did he trap it or did he catch it? They're going to say he caught it at the 36-yard line. That's Middleton. You can see the signal by Vernon Crawford. He said he trapped it.
Low decision, but they made the decision that he made the catch. But when you look at this game plan by Georgia Tech, everything's based in the run game on running inside the defensive ends and quick passes to the backside. There's the rushing chart. 13 rushing attempts, and 11 have come inside those defensive ends that are working up the field.
Hamilton rolls the pocket again, drills it, has it incomplete. Nice coverage by Samari Roll.
Almost an interception round. Samari Rowe stepped inside of that throw by Joe Hamilton. And that's what you look for in your defense, to stop those third down plays. Another field goal attempt.
52.5 yards, and it's Fritz.
Good defense run again by Florida State, stopping the running game.
High pass, he's got the distance, no. Going to be short. Hits at the back of the end zone. So Georgia Tech has come up dry on a couple of attempts that later in this game they could be very sorry for.
Well, there's no doubt it's going to come back and bite them, because you have to make every opportunity when you're trying to upset the nation's top 1 or 2 or 3 teams. You cannot give scoring opportunities away, because you're not going to hold Florida State this entire football game.
Got 11 seconds left. I think, last week they were held out of the scoring bracket in the first quarter against Virginia.
0-0 in the first quarter.
Hamilton talking upstairs to the offensive folks. They've got 3. Florida State has nothing. Busby trying to get it going. Zips his pass. That's Cooper at the 41. And Andre being pushed back by Nathan Perriman. And that will be the last play of the first quarter. So let's take a break. Georgia Tech 3, Florida State nothing.
Driving a supercharged Riviera is a pretty racy form of entertainment. And now, with these special low lease rates, it's more exhilarating than ever. Riviera by Buick.
I'll buy 10 of these. You're Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders? It's him. You're the greatest, man. Mind if I get a picture? Thanks, bro. You mind if I write a check? Sure, Deion. I'm just going to need to see some ID. Say what? Yes, a driver's license, a library card.
Checks. What a pain.
Fishing license? Employee ID.
But now there's a better way. The Visa Check Card. It's an ATM card with a Visa logo that deducts from your checking account automatically everywhere Visa's accepted.
I'm going to have to call to see if you can cover this.
The Visa Check Card works just like a check, only better.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair and for some people gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess. Except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
And it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
Sears is filled to capacity with tires for whatever you drive. And right now, all Goodyear tires are on sale at the lowest prices of the season. Only at our garage, the Sears Auto Center.
Wow, a Hershey bar.
There's a smile in every Hershey bar.
Hey, try this for a mantra. I like the rain. I like the rain. I want it to rain. I want to wallow in the mud and slop with reckless abandon. And when I die, I want to say that I did carpe the diem, no matter how cold, how wet, and how nasty the diem was.
3-0 Georgia Tech as we start the second. Mike, how about the numbers in the first quarter?
Well, when you take a look at statistics, we talked about the pace of the game, and right now Georgia Tech has the pace going exactly like they want. They've controlled the ball for 9-10, but they've missed 2 scoring opportunities, and Florida State's a dangerous, big play football team that could go ahead on one play.
You know, another stat that is huge in the mind of Bobby Bowden. 4 penalties against Florida State in the first quarter for 61 yards. Only 1 against Georgia Tech for 5. Busby with a stop and go. Not fooled on the play and intercepted Wilkins with his second of the night.
Bad decision by Thad Busby. Threw into double coverage. The safety over the top. Andre Cooper was being covered by Perriman. They rolled it up. He ran a fade route. Wilkins came over the top. You're going to see the throw by Busby. He puts arc on the ball, but now watch the safety. Brian Wilkins come over the top, make the interception. I believe Cooper got away with a push-off, and Wilkins with the interception.
Banham switches over at tight end over to the right side, and the handoff goes to Holloman. And he'll have a couple as Stevens will put the stopper on him.
Yeah, it goes back to my theory again. When you're a big play offensive football team and you have so many opportunities, you get a little frustrated and try to make plays that aren't there. Try to get the big play sometimes a little bit too soon. Thad Busby made a big mistake there.
You know, and that's one of the things O'Leary said as well. He said, we've got to be patient. You know, even if you play 3 and out and field position, that's how they won against Virginia. Mike, they didn't have a first down the last 28 minutes of that ball game. Throws this one right over the middle. That's Stallworth. And let's go down and check in with Kellen Winslow. Kellen.
Ron Thad Busby, the quarterback from Florida State, took a hit on his left forearm. His muscles cramped up after that. They tried to tape it up to give him some support. He didn't like the way it felt, so they ripped it off. Again, it's his non-throwing hand, but it might affect the way he takes a snap from center. We'll keep an eye on that.
Okay, that's great, Kellen. A good hustle there. 14:07 left in this opening half. Georgia Tech on offense again and very close to picking up another first down, and they have. The stat that I mentioned just as the play went off there, Virginia held Georgia Tech to no first downs the last 28 minutes of the ball game. But George O'Leary said, hey, I'm going to play a little old-fashioned football. I'm going to punt, even if it's 1, 2, 3 and kick, play field position in the game.
That's because they had control of Virginia's offense. They were able to do that for the entire second half. He just got in that kind of a mode and stayed in it.
Middleton, number 81, and he's top of the screen. Movement by Florida State. Now, I'll tell you, there was a war of words this week. Probably the advice to Georgia Tech is don't wake up a sleeping dog. But Georgia Tech did accuse Florida State of late hits, cheap shots last year. In fact, they had an entire tape that they showed the team. And I can tell you, when you saw everybody come up there, they are ready to mix it up with the Seminoles tonight.
Dead ball, both sides on the defense, 5-yard penalty, dead ball, personal foul on the defense, additional 15-yard penalty, first down.
Sometimes in basketball, there's a time for the basketball coach to get a technical. To get his team going. And I'll tell you what, even though this is a 15-yard penalty, this is going to get this defensive football team. And may arouse Florida State a little bit because they're sleepwalking. Let's see what happens after this penalty now, whether Florida State gets it geared up a little bit more.
C.J. Williams now is out at wide receiver, top of the screen. But they swing the pass, intercepted by Green, and he'll take it for the touchdown for Florida State. And just like that, as Mike Gottfried said, hello, Seminoles on top. Yards. And what did I just tell you? George O'Leary had said, we got to be patient. And he was anything but patient on that throw.
No, and he made a couple mistakes on that play. Number one, you talked about C.J. Williams being a wide receiver. No one was out on him. He should have taken the ball early and thrown the ball to C.J. Williams. But instead, he tried to throw the flare out of the backfield. Was picked off by Lamont Green.
Headley with the extra point attempt. He's perfect. So let's take a timeout. 13:28 left in the first half, and our new score, Seminoles 7-3.
Don't let a new car payment be a financial burden. Call 1-800-32-SMART about Smart Lease by GMAC. It's an affordable way to drive off with a new GM vehicle. And it might even give you something you wouldn't mind carrying around.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you. Maybe things weren't right. Well, I was tossing and turning, tossing and turning all night.
'The Value Drive is on during Oldsmobile's Value Drive sales event. Exceptional quality and value. That's 88 by Oldsmobile. J.D. Power and Associates' best premium midsize car in initial quality. For a limited time, Oldsmobile is clearing out all remaining 96s. And with special factory-to-retailer incentives on new 97 models, you have an even greater opportunity to save. 88 by Oldsmobile. The time to buy is now. The Value Drive is on. See your Oldsmobile retailer today.
ESPN's coverage of Saturday primetime is brought to you by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. And by Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. Disposition has changed on the two sidelines. A few more smiles on the Florida State side as Georgia Tech had it all going. 20 yards in penalties. They're across midfield, and Joe Hamilton forces one, and the touchdown return by number 40, Lamont Green.
And Ron, now Georgia Tech still has to stay with what they're doing because they're still having success on offense and playing the field position game. Florida State, not only a big play team on offense, but their defensive side of the ball also.
Rogers and Haney, the two deep men. This is Bentley kicking off. And it's going to be Haney. 15, 20. Mike, show us what happened on the interception.
Well, here is Troy Saunders, number 4. He's the defensive back, so there's no one under or no one covering C.J. Williams. So if Joe Hamilton would have taken the football and thrown to the right, he'd had a big play. Instead, he tries to go to the left side to Charlie Rogers. Lamont Green had him man-to-man, just stepped in front for the interception and the lead. But just a mistake by Joe Hamilton. When you see your receiver out there and no one on him, just call for the ball and throw him the football. An uncovered receiver rule that every team has.
This time, two tailbacks lined up. That's Holloman and C.J. Williams. Inside handoff goes to number 20, Holloman, and let's check in again with Kellen Winslow. Kellen?
Ron, I just want to tag the comment that Mike made about Lamont Green, number 40 for Florida State. He ran directly to that back. Somewhere during the week in practice, the coaches made that point. That back comes out that backfield, and he just took off wholehearted, took the angle, looking for the pick, forgetting about the receiver, and just picked off that ball for the touchdown. Good coaching by Florida State.
Good interception and a big play that they needed, but it followed that penalty that was called on their defense, and their defense rose up a little level.
Second down, they need to take the ball just across the 36. It's Hamilton going to throw long this time, and well overthrown. Middleton was there, but you could see there was double coverage.
Well, they have it covered. They have it covered very well. Harvey Middleton is a great possession type receiver, but they lost the speed receiver in Derek Stegall early in the year, so they really don't have a fast receiver outside, and that's why they like to move C.J. Williams from the running back position out to a wide receiver to give him more speed on the outside.
Well, Middleton heads out there this time again. What do you bet the next time C.J. goes there, though, he'll have a defender on it?
Somebody will be accompanying him.
They swing the pass, Rogers, and he's going to have the first down and more. Rogers bumped out of bounds by Dexter Jackson, and Michael Minner, 74, with a key block.
That's the play that they had in the first quarter that they would have scored on if they would have completed it. Renard Wilson's working up the field. Now the ball's going to be thrown right behind him. Just a little screen pass to try to bring the defensive end down. Now there's the ball lofted over to Charlie Rogers. Good lead blocker, Michael Minter out ahead of him. Good first down call. Excellent call to take advantage of a hard-charging defensive end.
And, of course, that will be a running play because that's the same as a pitch. That was away from the line of scrimmage. John Myers in motion as the give is to C.J. Williams, still on his feet, driving close to the 50-yard line. Henry Crockett will finally stop him.
This is the best I've seen any team run the ball against Florida State early in the ball game. You got to credit the Georgia Tech offensive line. Pat Watson, the offensive coordinator, coaches the offensive line. They're controlling the line of scrimmage against this defensive front.
And right now they've got two tight ends in the ball game. Chris Myers checks in with Bainham. As you look at rushing yard, it's 66-16. It's 91, that's Myers. They like to send him in motion, sometimes to throw, sometimes to block. Hamilton's pass, that was forced, looking for Middleton, and there were a lot of Garnet uniforms around him.
Darrell Bush had a shot at picking this ball off. He's the leader of the defense, started every game as a redshirt freshman, had 86 tackles, led Florida State in the tackle department, and an outstanding middle linebacker.
And he's also pretty outstanding in the classroom. He's already graduated, finance degree, and is in graduate school.
He had a 3.96, I was reading, grade point average.
Wonder what he made a B in. C.J. Williams. Nice job defensively as they just stop his legs from pumping. Dexter Jackson at the bottom of the pile, number 11.
Good forward surge by Andre Wadsworth and Connell Spain on the inside of the defensive front. When you have one defensive end that's great, sometimes you can double him, but Florida State has 3 excellent defensive linemen.
Feaster goes back deep. Rodney Williams, his first kick tonight. As you can see, good for 44, and somebody took a step back on the offensive line.
Well, Florida State's faking and trying to make little jab steps and trying to pull somebody out of their stance, and they did it.
False start on the offense. 5 yards. Fourth down.
Just go right up to him, Ron. Make a little jab. You're just trying to draw him off sides. You don't have any.
Feaster, Mike, 2 touchdowns this year. His longest return, 79.
Oh, he's dangerous. He's one of the better return men in the country.
Hey, Williams took a long time on that kick. This is a great coverage kick. Very high. Feaster calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 19. So let's take a break. The Tech offensive line, they've been very consistent. We'll be right back.
What do you think?
Oh, no. Ice.
What the Bravada thinks.
Decrease coefficient of friction, divert torque to adjust wheel velocities.
With this exclusive Smart Track system, the Bravada automatically reacts to changing road conditions. So with no buttons to push or levers to pull, you can let it do the thinking.
Oh, no. Marbles?
Yesterday, it was just an idea, a notion, a whim. A few hours ago, it was a yearning, a dream. And then, as if by magic, overnight it all came to be. Wishes crossed the sea, ideas took flight, and yearnings and cravings in all 4 corners of the earth were satisfied. It wasn't always this way, but with FedEx, it's the way the world works.
Orlando Pace and the Buckeyes run with the Illini. Ohio State, Illinois, next Saturday at 12:30, only on ESPN.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you. Baby, things weren't right. Well, I was tossing and turning all night.
Through its $1 million scholarship program, Burger King donates $100,000 per week in the name of scholar athletes whose achievements go beyond the field at all NCAA divisions. Tonight's students of the game from Florida State, defensive tackle Andre Wadsworth. He's a business major with a 3.15 GPA. And from Georgia Tech, tight end Grant Badum. He is a mechanical engineering major, and Grant has a 3.5 GPA. Engineering major. Remember his daddy. Played for the Dallas Cowboys.
When you talk about Andre Wadsworth, he was a walk-on for Florida State.
Florida State has only 2 first downs on the night. We have 11 minutes showing until halftime. Dunn tries to bounce it outside. 35. Brooking will not let go. And Warwick, in a second effort, will have about 3.5.
You have to tackle Warwick Dunn low. You got to tackle him in his legs because he's got such lower body strength. It's hard to tackle him high or around his waist and bring him down. Even though he's only 185, he gets a tremendous strength in his lower body.
Good look at Brooking there just a moment ago. He and Rogers talked with him after the walkthrough yesterday. And they are kids that you can tell play linebacker. Wonderfully exuberant, and they know only one speed. That's all out. Busby's toss over the middle, got incomplete. Across the 35 is E.G. Green, and out to the 39 is Jimmy Clements is holding on to him along with Wilkins.
Nice route by E.J. Green, just ran down the field, hooked at about 12 yards, right in front of Jimmy Clements, the linebacker. Now Florida State trying to pick up the pace a little bit with the no huddle.
Clock runs. We're about to go under 10 minutes left until halftime. The Florida State touchdown is a lead at 7-3 coming on the 40-yard interception. Busby, pressure, going to step up into the pocket. Going to be hit and has knocked down. Miles is the guy who gets to him again. Jermaine Miles, a junior college transfer. He's from Brooklyn, New York.
He's having a great first half, and he's just given the offensive line of Florida State fits. Number 95 again up the field. Now Thad Busby tries to work up the field. Now Miles comes off the play and makes the tackle.
He's just been replaced. Deshaun Simmons, number 68, comes in at right defensive end. Second down and 12, Florida State. That's where they run. Dunn has 5, has 10. He's loose at the 35, inside the 20, and he is down at the 12-yard line.
Ward Dunn is a type of running back that you may stop him 5, 6, 7 plays, and all of a sudden he does this. Again, you can't tackle him around the waist. Brian Wilkins chases him down. But I don't know of any other player like a Ward Dunn that means so much to his offense, Florida State, at the running back position. There are quarterbacks, but he is the running back that makes him go.
The ball spotted just outside the 10. Pooh Bear Williams. Nobody's booing. It's inside the 7 on the carry. And for Dunn, 6 carries, 14 yards prior to that. Now 51 on that long run. So total it, you got 65. An average of over 10 per carry after that little jump.
And the bad news, Ron, is Rock Preston's in the ball game. 9 plays over 20 yards this season. Ward Dunn adds to the big play philosophy of Bobby Bowden.
Rock Preston, as Mike mentioned, can be just as effective. In fact, inside the 2-3-1, did he score? No hands have gone up. Now we have an official who decides he'll make a decision. It's a touchdown.
And there, when you can go to Rock Preston as your backup tailback, that gives you a 1-2 punch. Ward Dunn got him down there, and Rock Preston finished him off.
Pretty good 1-2 punch, 28 and 24. We mentioned on the start of that drive that Florida State had only 2 first downs, but they got it done that time.
Ron, the pace of this game is going to change now.
Bentley's kick is good, and we'll go to break. One more look at the touchdown by Rock Preston as he goes to the left side and fights his way into the Georgia Tech end zone. We'll be right back.
Should you have your next party, reception, or meeting at the Dragon Room Chinese restaurant? The reasons are many. The Dragon Room accommodates groups of 10 to 200 in a beautiful private banquet area. Friendly servers will make sure you get the royal treatment. The Dragon Room will prepare special dishes just for your occasion, or you may help yourself to the 40-foot buffet, filled to the brim with great-tasting Chinese cuisine. Always fresh, always delicious, and always affordable. Serving Tallahassee for over 23 years, the Dragon Room has what you're looking for. For private dining at its best, call the Dragon Room today.
Dodge Country's 96 final clearance sale is going on now. All 96 Neons, Caravans, Grand Caravans, and conversion vans will be sold at 1% over dealer invoice. The Hot Dodge Neon, 1% over invoice, and you keep the rebate. The ever-popular Caravan and Grand Caravan, 1% over invoice with savings to $3,500. 96 conversion vans, 1% over invoice with savings to $7,700. All 96 models must go. Our 97 model allocation depends on it. So stop and see us, because when they're gone, they're gone.
NFL, you not only get 9 big matchups, but 1 big highlight show, complete with Berman and Jackson. Get all the great plays. All the players, Dion, Cordell, Cortez. Praise fans, too. Get owners, coaches, the entire NFL, jam-packed with catchphrases. It's ESPN Sunday Night NFL.
Hi, what are you doing?
So Florida State is on top 14-3, 1 offensive touchdown and 1 defensive touchdown. But that combination right there, number 28 and number 24, very deadly on that last series.
What's up, baby? What's up,
Bentley about to kick it off, and again the dual safeties for Georgia Tech, Charlie Rogers and Chris Haney. There they are right there, number 3 Rogers, 21 Chris Haney. Here's Rogers at the 9. Out to the 27-yard line. Well, here are the key plays in the ball game so far. The interception thrown right there. Lamont Green steps in front. It takes it just over 50 for the touchdown. Then on the next offensive series, Dunn with his long run of 51 yards. And Preston got it into the end zone, 14-3. Mike, I would look for Mickey Andrews and his defense to step it up and gamble a little more right here to try to get a starting of a knockout punch. Would you think?
With 8:17 to go, that's exactly what they did, and they caused the knockout, the early punch, to get his defensive team in a little bit of a different mood.
Check in with Mike Tirico. Mike?
All right, guys, let's update the game over on the Deuce. It's Arkansas and Auburn, and Auburn has come back into the game. Here goes Rusty Williams from 15 yards out. He'll bounce it outside for a touchdown. Add the point, and on the Deuce, it's a tie game, 7-7.
Almost like the script from last year, as Mike Gottfried was talking about that game in Little Rock that was back and forth all night. It's Bainham, the tight end, shifting from the left to the right. Rogers, little counter play. Tries to cut it back up inside. He is going to be close to the first down. Nope. They're going to stop him short of the 35. Julian Pittman defensively, along with Wadsworth on the stop for Florida State.
Andre Wadsworth again getting penetration up inside, and Florida State's defense now is making Georgia Tech earn every yard they get. It's not coming easy. And where they've had success is right here. They've been able to stop Georgia Tech in key third down situations.
Third down, the line to make is the 37. Tech is 2 of 7 on third down conversions. And Hamilton got to be sacked at the 30. Darrell Bush. Also, Canal Spain was there, but it was Bush who made the initial contact. And number 2, Rodney Williams, will have to come on and punt again.
When Joe Hamilton's going to go to the outside, you're going to watch Darrell Bush give a linebacker pursuit and then pressure him up inside, trying to take away his throwing lane and trying also to make sure he doesn't run for a first down.
Williams, high pass from center. They were lucky. Florida State had to return on. Now this thing takes a big Georgia Tech bounce. Going to go dead at the 32-yard line. Well, catch the NFL countdown tomorrow as Boomer and the boys start your day off right. The Dallas Cowboys defense getting it done without a lot of big names. The Redskins, a perfect 21 of 21 in the red zone. They'll tell you why. And who will catch for the Packers? Who will they throw to? Tomorrow on NFL countdown.
Imagine they'll find somebody to throw to. Well, that is a good football team and well coached, the Packers.
Yeah, they really are. But they have had an inordinate number of injuries, particularly the wideouts.
They need somebody to jump in the crowd.
Fake. The ball thrown complete at the 44-yard line. That's Wayne Messam, the senior out of South Bay, number 89.
All of a sudden now you can see Florida State getting into some offensive rhythm. Now first down, a play action pass. Wayne Messam's going to come all the way across the field. Thad Busby just on a little rollout, finds him, waits for him to clear the linebackers, gets him the football.
Deep over the middle. Got him open, and he dropped the football. E.G. Green. Oh, my goodness. You don't see that very often. Particularly when the ball is right there in his mitts.
Well, he caught him in cover 2 now. That's 2 deep safety. So E.J. Green is going to work down the middle against both these safeties. And that ball is thrown as well as you can. That's where you want to attack 2 deep coverage. Right in the middle of the 2 safeties. Just drop the football.
It's time to roll the pocket back to the short side of the field, going long and knocked away. And I'll tell you, Wilkins was very close to having his third pickoff of the night, as Peter Warwick is the guy they wanted.
The other thing is now Florida State's throwing the ball downfield a little bit more, trying to take advantage of some of the speed matchups that they have. Peter Warwick open, but just couldn't get him the football.
That stops the clock just under 6 minutes until halftime. Florida State 14, Georgia Tech 3. Georgia Tech led at the first intermission 3-0. In the Seminoles came back with the defensive score and the interception, and then Dunn set up their second score with a 51-yard run. Busby's pass complete to Cooper. He gets punished by Jimmy Clements after he catches it, and the ball is right at midfield.
Punt the football again, fourth down situation. Good defense by Georgia Tech and a good hit by Jimmy Clements. Ball was thrown underneath the first down marker to Andre Cooper, and Jimmy Clements with a good tackle.
Clements is very quick. He can sting you. He had a fumble return for a touchdown against Duke. Melissa's kick, best one of his of the night. At the 5, takes a Florida State bounce, and right there to down it is Wayne Messam. That's a 46-yard kick, but most importantly, dead at the 4. Well, the Deuce has the best in college football next Saturday, 12:30, number 9 Michigan, and Jared Irons look to sack Purdue. Then at 7 o'clock, Virginia Tech takes on the Pirates of East Carolina. We're not done. At 10 o'clock, Utah and their high-flying offense go up against New Mexico next Saturday, all on the Deuce.
Ron, now you talk about strategy. Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, has got 3 timeouts to work with. So he wants his defense to turn this ball back over to this offense with 5:03 to go with great field position.
This is the worst start of the night for Georgia Tech. The ball inside their own foul. C.J. Williams breaks off 1 tackle. Taken for a gain of about 4. That's going to be Sean Hamlet. He put the stop on him, also picked.
This is where, when you see Julian Pittman in the ballgame, number 95, this is what Florida State does better than probably most football teams in college football. They're always substituting their defensive front so that by the time they get to this part of the season, they've got 2 deep in their defensive front. They can play 8 defensive linemen, keep them fresh. Fresh guys in the fourth quarter usually win in a close ball.
Tell you what, Pittman has been very effective tonight. Hamilton's pass, now that's a force. Colsey almost hit him right in the numbers. Lucky that he got that football back.
Yeah, you're right. That could have been intercepted. And James Colsey was in great shape against Dexter Stallworth. Just a quick throw. He was throwing the ball. He was wheeling around on a pitch fake and then throwing blind to the backside. Lucky to get away with that.
Dixie Bainham, the tight end, coming out of the lineup. 20. Curtis Holloman will check in. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Amityville, New York. 3rd down. The line to make the 15. Straight ahead with a handoff, and it's Holloman, who we were just talking about. He's going to be 2 yards short. His bullware is down at the bottom of that stack.
Now the pressure goes to Georgia Tech here on 4th down. First of all, Florida State can block kicks. They're a very good kick blocking football team, so you've got to protect, and you've got to really have a good design of punt protection. But also you got D. Feaster, so if you're protecting and they get a good hold up, you got a great opportunity for a big return here for D. Feaster.
And Mike Williams has been a little bit slow in his effort tonight, and they got it for a touchdown, Florida State. Seven Smith makes the recovery. In Williams' defense, I had just said he was a little slow, but also there was a high pass from center as well.
Yeah, but they missed a block inside because Peter Boulware came free right from the snap of the football. They had a missed blocking assignment. And this game is just taking on a different color right here now, Ron, because the Georgia Tech's got to get out of playing it safe now. They've got to step it up a little bit, and it's going to play right into Florida State's hands.
Bentley with the extra point has got it good. George O'Leary thinking, well, it's what happens against great teams. Look how they get their touchdowns. 1 by defense, 1 by offense, not by special teams.
And George has a good plan. It's come apart.
You know, I suddenly have a taste for a chocolate phosphate from LaRue's drugstore.
That place we went when we were dating?
Kelly Springfield tires are designed to go a long way, and we've got the warranties to prove it. So go.
So where are you folks from?
Oh, just down the road.
Get every mile you can out of life.
In the game of politics, choosing a candidate can be a difficult move.
That's because candidates make lots of promises. Promises, promises, promises. So, who will you choose? Her. Good choice, because she has an ice-cold Miller Lite, which makes only one promise: great taste. Join the party. Choose Miller Lite. Life is good. And when you vote, life is really good.
Morning number 3. Smoke free. Nice going Nicoderm CQ. Doing fine with no help, thanks. You want to cheat? No. Come on, just one. No. I hate how calm you are. That's the CQ.
Only Nicoderm CQ starts you off with the highest level of medicine. A 24-hour stream that's still with you when you wake up.
It helps calm the cravings. You'll see.
Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to quit successfully.
Peter Boulware with the block. Mike, just last week, he was not even on the special teams. They put him there this week. And I'm sure right now they are very pleased that they did.
Oh, they really are, because Peter Boulware got a big jump on that punt to block it. Georgia Tech has a pro-style punting team where they split their 2 wide people, and they just missed the block.
Flag is down. Florida State's going to be called for offsides and a kickoff. Rogers takes it 5 yards deep, and let's see if they ask him to kick it over again. Here's the block. Mike, explain to us what happened.
Peter Boulware is the second man right there. He's inside. He's going to be blocked by the second man right here, but he's just let loose a little too quick. Peter Boulware on special teams for the first time again this week. Gets free. Now again, Ron, he does a good job of going to the point where the punter's going to punt the football and lays out so that if he misses the punt, he's not going to run into the punter. Just does an excellent job. They're well coached in special teams. And they still have 3:43 on the clock and still have their 3 timeouts, so they can still get some things going here before halftime.
They've scored 21 unanswered points, and as I mentioned just a moment ago, there were offsides on the kickoff, so they'll ask him to do it again. George got to be asking himself, hey, what do I do? This is what great teams do. They got one area or another that picks them up when the others falter.
Well, there's no doubt. George O'Leary has a good plan tonight. He has the same plan that he beat Virginia with, but Florida State's not cooperating. Big plays again. Linebacker Lamont Green intercepts the pass. Warwick Dunn gets the big run. Then you get the punt block. All big plays for Bobby Bowden. Talk about Cecil Fielder being the home run hitter. He's got a bunch of home run hitters on this football team.
I can tell you right now, there was steam coming out of Bowden's head at the end of the first period, though. They had over 60 yards in penalties in the first quarter. They had done everything wrong that you could think of. But they've made amends here in the second. Bentley will kick it off again, this time from the 30. This is Rogers at the 1. Now there's a block in the back, and that was absolutely useless. It's going to bring that ball back all the way inside the 10-yard line. And let's check in with Mike Tirico quickly. Mike?
All right, Ron, coming up, it is the GMAC halftime report. We'll tell you why George Welsh, the Virginia coach, was not happy with his team's performance today. The national picture keeps clarifying on this first Saturday of November. And there was a record, something that has never happened in any college football game at any level today. What was it? We'll just have to come back at halftime with Kirk and Lee and me and find out. Guys?
Okay, Mike, thank you. Roderick Roberts just bumped into somebody from behind, and Rogers had already gone by him. It really was a senseless effort and penalty.
Well, complicate that now if you're George O'Leary. You just had the punt blocked, and now you're back inside the 10-yard line. You still got 3:36 on the clock, and you're going to have to get it out of here right now. Offensively, I'd be trying to figure a way to throw this football to get out here so I don't have to punt again.
Inside with the handoff. That's Virgil Johnson, the big freshman out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Vernon Crawford says no, along with Stevens. Well, look at this. The big plays tonight, Mike. 56 on the interception return for a touchdown by Green. Dunn with a 51-yard run. Rock Preston then scored. And Peter Boulware with a block punt for the touchdown. Shevin Smith makes the recovery.
Home run hitters. I'm thinking more in terms of Norm Cash than Cecil Fielder. A little left-hander.
There's a look right there at Lamont Green, plays behind Henry Crockett, but tonight he's probably going to have a game ball to take back to Tallahassee. Pitch comes back to Rogers. Tries to turn the corner and comes across the 11 to the 12-yard line.
A good pursuit by Florida State. Sometimes you can take advantage of a team like Florida State when they're so fast by misdirection. But they have everything going defensively now, and there's 8 new defensive players coming on the field for Florida State. Again, good substitution by Bobby Bowden's football team.
Well, I'm talking with Mickey Andrews this morning as we were heading to breakfast. He said the only thing he was worried about, a lot of nicks and bruises. That was a physical game against Virginia last week. Hamilton deep in the pocket, hit, loses the football. It's on the ground at the 7-yard line. That was Boulware who caused everything to go awry.
Well, he's a sack leader for Florida State. Look at how far outside the offensive tackle is. He just ran over Charlie Rogers, number 3, and made the hit and caused Joe Hamilton to fumble.
That's what we were talking about last week, talking about running backs that are 180 and under trying to block linebackers that are 260.
Very
can't
difficult.
Do it.
Very difficult. Now, Ron, I would expect now you still go back after the punt, but I'd be more afraid of D. Feaster right now because figure the punter's going to get this one off. But D. Feaster, look out for him now. Punt return.
Timeout has been called, and we're going to hold it right here with 2:06. Rodney Williams nervously walking around back there.
Ron, I was going to mention that we got Army in a couple of weeks, it looks like, and of course they won today. And Coast Guard, all the academies, the Coast Guard won today. They're 6-2, so all the academies are doing well this year. It's great for college football.
Army has got Air Force before they play Syracuse.
And they're playing well.
They're playing well. If they win, they'll come into Syracuse 9-0. If they lose, they're still 8-1. So
good to see the wishbone.
Yeah, I think that'll be a fun Saturday night at Syracuse 2 weeks from tonight.
D. Feaster, look out.
Coming after him, and it's the shortest kick of the night. Fair catch is signaled for, and he makes it at the 37. So they play it safe. It's only a 30-yard kick. Well, we talked about 2 weeks from tonight and the fact that we're excited about that. How about 1 week from tonight? Both of these teams are off, Mike. It'll be Alabama and LSU, and the ramifications, folks, this looks as though it's going to be for the West in the SEC. I have a feeling Tiger Stadium is going to be much akin to like the late 50s and early 60s when it rocked.
And I think you're going to see a great defensive ball game in that between LSU and Alabama.
Next Saturday night here on Primetime.
And the prize is to play Florida.
This is the best start as far as field position for Florida State. Dunn on the draw. Tries to squat underneath the tackle. And Jermaine Miles, who's been the main man all night, along with Ron Rogers on the stop for Georgia Tech.
Jermaine Miles is ready for the challenge tonight. He has handled his share on the defensive line.
I got a kick out of what George said in the meetings yesterday. We were talking with him about Miles. He said, you know, the first year here he was Mr. Mum, Mr. Quiet. He wouldn't say anything. And now all of a sudden, he's not only become vocal, he's telling people on the field, hey, get fired up, do this, do that. He said, I'm glad he's being assertive.
And Pat Watson, the offensive coordinator, said he even talked to him. He said hello to him.
Well, coming up at halftime, the GMAC halftime report and some of the top stories they will talk about. Northwestern Blues, Carolina on a roll, and the rivalries. That and more. The GMAC halftime report.
North Carolina wins out. Do they get in the alliance, you think?
Yeah, I think they should. I think they got a great shot at it. I think that this on both sides of the line, offensively and defensively, this is the best one Max had. I think it's the best one Carolina has had in a very long time.
And they got some tough games left, though. They got Louisville this week coming, and they can't take them lightly. They got to go to Virginia.
So the timeout was called so they could stop the clock with 1:48 until halftime. Florida State 21-3. Oh, just about 13 minutes and 15 seconds ago, it was 3-0 Georgia Tech. Second period has been a complete reversal by the Seminoles. Play action, going to go on top. Looking for Cooper at the goal line. He caught it. There's a flag down, and there is a possibility that may be offensive pass interference.
I think it's the other way, Ron. Let's see what happens. Oh, you may be right, but I think it's going to be defensive interference.
Perryman was covering, and they both were shoving.
Pass interference on the defense.
You're right.
Penalty is declined.
Yeah, I think it was interference all the way on Perryman. Cooper was just trying to use his body. And again, Florida State does as well at this as any team in the country, putting a high fly ball up and letting Andre Cooper just run under and make a catch. Now remember, he was Mr. Basketball in high school in 1993 in the state of Florida. See, he just positioned himself. He's working up the field. Perriman's kind of got his hands on him. I don't know that I'd even called that interference. But Andre Cooper with a good catch.
Bentley with the extra point. It's good. So now Cooper with a touchdown reception. Brock Preston has scored for the offense. For the defensive side of the football, Lamont Green comes up with a touchdown on an interception. And the fellows from Tallahassee now are cruising.
Yeah, and I've seen Andre Cooper make that jump ball catch where you throw the ball in the end zone and he just makes the catch.
Kevin, let's check in with you down on the sideline.
Ron and Mike, the play that Cooper just scored on was the same type of play that Busby threw the interception on earlier in the half. The difference this time is that Cooper made the adjustment that Busby wanted. That was the stutter and the go. Cooper didn't do that on the last play. This time he got behind Perryman, a very good defensive back, used his larger size to come up with a great catch.
Well, for Coop, that's his 5th reception, his first touchdown of the night. His number's 5 catches for 65 yards. You see the average, and he is into the end zone. And, Mike, that was the team chaplain that he was kneeling with on the far sideline. And it looks as though there was a little thank you going to the skies there after that touchdown catch.
Well, he's got a lot of God-given talent, and he's thankful for having it.
Personal foul called against Georgia Tech. So the Seminoles will kick it off on the 50-yard line. And he'll kick this one a mile out of the back of the end zone. And we have 1 minute, 39 seconds left until halftime. And let's check in with Kellen again. Kellen, what do you have for us?
Well, Ron, we're going to talk about the offensive line, but I do believe we're going to get an adjustment here. Shaw is coming in for Hamilton. But the offensive line coaches were talking to the offensive lineman about an adjustment to get outside to Bulwer, maybe getting the guard to slide out a little bit quicker and letting the back up on the inside and let the guard come to the outside, help with Bulwer. We'll see what they do.
Well, they tried that, I think, last time, Kellen. The guard didn't get to Peter Bulwer because of the wide stance that he had, and he just ran over Charlie Rogers.
Brandon out of Marietta, Georgia. You could see the numbers on him last week. And before it's all started, Jackson, the right tackle, came out of his stance, and they'll be penalized 5.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, 5 yards, first down.
Well, in the first quarter, it was Florida State making the errors. In this quarter, it's been Georgia Tech.
Now, Brandon Shaw, the backup quarterback, played against Central Florida last week, and they said he played very well. So I think they're just giving him a chance here with the 1:39 to go just to get a little playing time in here. I don't think they're unhappy with Joe Hamilton. He threw the pick, but I think they're just trying to get Shaw some action.
Low pass, better get on that thing. There are linebackers coming everywhere, and he's covered in garnet. By the way, it's been a couple of years since Florida State has worn these uniforms. All garnet, we were told. Rob Wilson coming up just before the ball game. Florida State now calling the timeout to stop it with 90 seconds.
Somebody told me the last time they wore it was about 7 years ago, and they beat Tulane. Now, your information is probably a little more current than mine, but...
Rob said 2 will, you know...
All right, well, split the difference.
They're close. Mickey Andrews talking to Darrell Bush on the sidelines about what they want to do here. Well, coming up later tonight, we got more football. The Falcons of the Air Force Academy play host to the Colorado State Rams. Bo Morgan and his mates hope to continue their winning ways with option offense. That's following our football game from Atlanta. Colorado State Air Force.
I just thought about this, Ron. I'm going with 2 years because my information came from a manager. So I'm going with your Rob Wilson.
Has that manager been there 7 years?
Looking at him, I don't think so. No, he's kind of young and that information.
Second down, the line to make all the way out at the 30. 90 seconds left until halftime. Shaw's going to run 15, 20, and he'll take it to the 24. James Colsey will wrap him up.
You're talking about Florida State looking to Florida. They still have Southern Miss down that schedule also, but they're going to play them in the state of Florida. But that'll be a chore for them yet.
And the fellows from Hattiesburg are very good. Quick pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage, almost intercepted by Canal Spain.
There we go, punt again.
But you come after it, or you put on a return?
I think I go for the return here.
Clock shows 60 seconds left in this opening half. Rodney Williams comes on, his longest of the year, 77 yards. He had that against Virginia. In fact, it was a key play in that win, the upset over Virginia. See the Seminoles come after him again. He's got the return on. And it's a bad kick off the side of his foot. Feaster running up for it. It's going to go out of bounds around the 40. Only 37 yards in the kick.
Williams punt goes out of bounds at the 39-yard line. 37 yards on the punt. No return home.
Now this is a hold-up for Florida State. So what they're trying to do right now is just hold up the person that's blocking him. So where it's being blocked there. But what he in turn is doing is he's blocking the other Georgia Tech player so he can't get down the field to cover.
Takes his time right over the middle. That one's going to be incomplete. He was looking for Peter Warwick.
That was good coverage by Keith Brooking. The linebacker underneath on Peter Warwick. He was very good coverage. We talked about the two linebackers for Georgia Tech, Rogers and Brooking. They talk about them being a throwback to the 50-type linebackers. Just love to play and play hard all the time.
Busby steps up and he shows that he can be very fleet of foot when he has to. Cooper is who he wanted, and it was just a little too far, so that'll stop the clock. 41 ticks left.
Didn't really gather his feet on that play. Just threw it wildly to Andre Cooper.
Well, here are the big plays so far tonight. We have to add what just happened with Andre Cooper, 38-yard touchdown reception. Bull wherever the block kick, done with a 51-yard run. Led to the touchdown by Rock Preston, and of course it all started with Lamont Green and his interception return for a touch.
And Ron, there's still 41 seconds to add another one to that list.
Deep in the pocket and overthrown. He had him open that time. Ron Dugans, sophomore out of Tallahassee, just a little too tall, and Florida State will have to kick it back as List comes on.
You want to win a championship, you have to have all facets of good football teams. And I think Florida State has a great punter in Sean List and a really good place kicker in Scott Bentley. But List can hit him. 6'4".
Georgia Tech has nobody back.
They got 11-man rush.
List gets it away. It's his best of the night. Florida State's going to down this thing inside the 4 at the 3. List comes up big. It's a 58-yard punt. We have 24 seconds left. And
that's Ronnie Cottrell right there, who's in charge of the punter and special teams. But, Ron, when you talked about Georgia Tech not having anybody back, you really can block 10 guys if you're the punt team. But when they go with the 11th guy, your punter really has to get the ball rid of it. He's got to get rid of it quick. And what Georgia Tech was trying to do is just come after that play. They knew they didn't have enough time to get any kind of field position, so maybe they get fortunate enough to block the punt, but they didn't. I expect the quarterback sneak and take it to the house here.
That's what he's going to do. So that should be the final play of the first half from Atlanta, Georgia. Both teams heading toward the locker room with our score. Florida State 28 and Georgia Tech 3. Right now, let's join Mike Tirico for the GMAC halftime report. Mike.
All right, Ron. Well, Georgia Tech was in it for a while, and then Kirk and Lee just, hi, we're the Seminoles.
That's right.
Yeah, and we'll see how Florida State continues on in the second half as they seem to be marching to the end of the month and the game against Florida. Some special seasons, well, they finally found what's going to go wrong for them. We'll explain what we're talking about on the GMAC halftime report at the break in Atlanta. Noles lead the Jackets by 25.
Value Drive is on during Oldsmobile's Value Drive sales event. Exceptional quality and value. That's 88 by Oldsmobile. J.D. Power and Associates' best premium midsize car in initial quality. For a limited time, Oldsmobile is clearing out all remaining 96s. And with special factory-to-retailer incentives on new 97 models, you have an even greater opportunity to save. 88 by Oldsmobile. The time to buy is now. The Value Drive is on. See your Oldsmobile retailer today.
What would happen if the Democrats controlled Congress and the White House? Been there, done that. Remember? The largest tax increase in history, more wasteful Washington spending, a government-run health care scheme. The liberal special interests aligned with Clinton desperately want to buy back control of Congress. They've spent over $35 million across the country on ads for Democrats. If we give the special interests a blank check in Congress, who's going to represent us?
This halftime report is brought to you by GMAC.
Let's immediately get you updated in the top 25. Game going on right now on the deuce. Damian Craig breaks the 7-7 ties. The Auburn quarterback keeps it and scores from 11 yards out. Oscar Malone scored first for Arkansas, so they've come back with a couple of touchdowns. And the Auburn Tigers at Jordan-Hare lead Arkansas in the Southeastern Conference by 7 and on the deuce. As we welcome you to the GMAC halftime report, now that we're into the month of November, the bowl pictures crystallize more and more every week. And really, it's a bi-coastal deal. We're watching what's going to happen out in the Rose Bowl and what will happen in the Sugar Bowl. First, the Rose Bowl side of the story. In the Big Ten, Northwestern, their 13-game Big Ten winning streak on the line at Penn State, the last team to beat the Wildcats in the conference. Some snow, but everybody was happy in the Happy Valley. Here's why. Wally Richardson benched last week, came back and looked terrific today. Joe Juravicius slips the tackle and goes through the Northwestern secondary. A 63-yard pass play. Just part of the story for Penn State. Their defense was great today. 7 sacks, forcing Northwestern into 5 turnovers, 2 interceptions by Kim Herring. Penn State hands Northwestern its first conference loss of the season, even though Darnell Autry did run for 104 yards. Northwestern loses by 25. So at the top of the conference, Ohio State chance to move into first if they beat Minnesota. In the horseshoe and on the deuce, Corey Sauter picked off by Andy Katzenmoyer. The freshman takes it in. There's a familiar sight. 45 in the Buckeye uniform in the end zone. Reason to dance in Columbus as Ohio State beats Minnesota 45-0. The high-powered Jim Wacker attack held to 104 total yards. So Ohio State alone atop the Big Ten tonight. Michigan State, good old rivalry in the big house. Michigan up 21-10. Scott Dreisbach looking for Charles Woodson. And this is 2 touchdowns in the final 15 seconds of this half. Michigan scored 21 points in the final 2 minutes of the first half, capitalizing on Michigan State mistakes. Michigan at 4-1, still with Ohio State to play, gets a 45-29 win. More on the Big Ten in a second. Let's take you out to the Pac-10 where Arizona State trailed Oregon State at the half. But to start the second half, Terry Battle explodes. Past the kicker and gonna go the distance in Corvallis. 100-yard kickoff return. Way to start the second half. erases Oregon State's lead, and Arizona State pulls away and wins 29-14. In addition, you see Battle had a terrific day on the ground, but a bad stat day for Jake Plummer. His Heisman hopes hurt by 11 of 22, 146 yards, no touchdowns. In the wildest game maybe of the season, Cal beat Arizona 56-55. It's the longest overtime game in major college football. On the final play, Arizona faked a conventional extra point. The holder flipped it to the kicker, who tried to run it in for 2 and end all the overtime shenanigans, but he was stopped a couple of yards short. Wild day. Guys, let's talk about the Big Ten and the Michigan victory in the Big House League.
Well, Kirk, you remember I told you that Michigan State's Sergeant Schultz, the quarterback, knew nothing. Nothing.
He did nothing today.
Well, you were right, but let me tell you something. Michigan won this ball game because of offensive balance. They're scoring a lot of points. Today, 206 yards rushing, 203 yards passing. I tell you what, they're going to be tough to stop with offensive balance like that. Quarterback coach Stan Parrish has done a lot with that football team.
Well, another thing, I think they're starting to develop some confidence offensively. They have a great 1-2 punch in the backfield with Chris Howard and Clarence Williams. Very typical of Michigan, just starting to get better. Don't forget, 2 weeks from now, Penn State. End the year in Columbus with Ohio State. With the Northwestern loss, Michigan controls their own destiny to get to the Rose Bowl. That's big news. Player of the day today, Wally Richardson. Faced a lot of adversity, came back very, very impressive.
You mentioned Penn State, Michigan in the Big House. We point out again, Michigan's last home loss in the month of November, 1987. You mentioned it before.
That's right.
They're so good there this month. Now, we talked about the Rose Bowl story. What's going to happen within the alliance? Well, Florida, they're at the top. They have the inside lane. Will they run into a problem? Not today against Georgia. This rivalry game was another big-time blowout. More pitch and catch from Danny Werfel and Riddell Anthony. 20 yards for the touchdown. Ike Hilliard didn't play in this game. It didn't matter. It was 47-7. They played without 6 starters, and Florida beat Georgia by 40. The only negative thing you could say about Florida, they didn't score a touchdown in their first possession for the first time this season. Tennessee was in a tough one in Columbia against South Carolina, tied at 7. Watch Peyton Manning. He's put up some very good numbers in some games this year. Andy McCullough, 48-yard touchdown. Tennessee wins 31-14. One of 2 touchdowns. Joey Kent caught the other one, but the great numbers there for Peyton Manning. South Carolina done with home games now at 5-4, still with some work to do on the road to qualify for a bowl game. Speaking of rivalries, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Nebraska up 17-0. Oklahoma's quarterback Eric Moore on the slant, picked off by Ralph Brown. Watch the freshman go. He's out of California. He has great speed. And he will go the distance. Terrell Farley throws him a great block to spring him as well. Nebraska hands Oklahoma the most points that an Oklahoma team has ever given up. 73-21 in this game. 5 turnovers by Oklahoma turned into 31 Nebraska points. Nebraska is winning impressively, Lee. Will it change the polls when we see him tomorrow?
Mark it down. Mark it down. Nebraska jumps to number 4 in both polls. The reason why Arizona State beats an average Oregon State team by 15. As we just said, Nebraska beats Oklahoma, which sounds real good, by 52. Mark it down, my friend. Nebraska, number 4 in the nation.
You're being kind saying Oregon State's an average team.
Well,
not even that. I think one thing is for sure about the SEC. 2 teams in the alliance. Number 1, Florida continues to impress everybody. Best team in the country. They will play Nebraska in the Sugar Bowl. And the other team is Tennessee. I think they win out, and they will match up with the loser of that Florida-Florida State game, which will be Florida State. Tennessee, Florida State in the Fiesta Bowl, which will be a great bowl game.
Wow, would it be?
I understand what you're saying. I think you may be right, but if that happens, why do we play games on the field? Arizona State
I think Arizona State will stay up.
That's like, wait a minute, that's like Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson. If they ever fought again, boom, he'd knock him right out of there.
Sometimes once is enough. And the GMAC halftime report, once is not enough for us. We're coming back with more scores and highlights, including Notre Dame's trip across the pond in Dublin to take on Ireland. Navy's coach didn't enjoy the trip, and not because of the final score. I'll tell you why when you come back.
Don't let a new truck payment stretch you to the limit. Call 1-800-32-SMART about Smart Lease by GMAC. It keeps new vehicles well within reach. Don't let a new car payment get you all wound up. Call 1-800-32-SMART about Smart Lease by GMAC. It can put a new spin on affordability.
Oh, bathroom. Oh, bathroom, bathroom, bathroom. Oh, yes.
adventure. Where you stay shouldn't be. Fairfield Inn by Marriott.
Dan is a pimp. I never could have outfought Santana.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Oh, yeah.
Their inexplicable behavior continues. Got to go now. Braveheart is on.
It's not TV. It's HBO.
But I didn't